Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm gonna show you the 10 most underrated JRPG soundtracks, in my opinion of course. Now some of these games are pretty well known, somewhat popular, while others are somewhat obscure. One thing I need to clarify first is that this is a re-upload of a video that I did a year and a half ago. I took it down because I got 2 copyright claims, but now that they're gone, now that that's fixed, it's back up again. Alright, are you ready for some kick-ass JRPG music? Then let's begin! Number 10 is the Odin Felgana. Yeah, I know, we're all crazy about the Ys music nowadays, but it seems all the attention goes to Lacrimosa of Dana with a critically acclaimed soundtrack. Others get recognition as well, but Felgana barely does. A full 3D remake of Ys 3, also known as Wanderers of the Ys. Fantastic game, brutally unforgiving, but very addictive to play. The music, completely underrated of course, as it definitely improved the gameplay with its adrenaline injections. It was excellent on the original versions, and it's even better here where it finally took the form of metal. Number 9. Brain Lord. Barely known hidden gem on the Super Nintendo, an action RPG with puzzles and gameplay view in a top-down perspective. Honestly, it isn't a great game, but it delivers a cool adventure. And oh boy does the music help. It's so freaking 80s, with awesome combinations of bass and keyboards, man. Probably one of the primary reasons to play this game is to allow its wacky beats inside your head. I can't believe people don't talk much about this underrated soundtrack, but maybe it's because the game itself is pretty much unknown. Number 8. Shining Force 2. Okay, the first Shining Force also has an amazing and underrated soundtrack, but I like the music in the second one the most. It just pamps personality almost anywhere in the game, whether it's a battle, a town, or the overall map theme. Plus, it's a huge classic on the Genesis, which has sadly become a forgotten gem. Great strategy RPG, among the best in the system, and a game that everybody should have played by now. Even if you're not into it though, I can guarantee you will at least enjoy a theme or two. I mean, it's the Sega Genesis, come on! It was known for its kick-ass music. Number 7. Romancing Saga Minstrel Song. The remake of the very first Romancing Saga is, without a doubt, one of the absolute best soundtracks ever created in a video game. Not only is it underrated, but criminally overlooked. Turn-based RPG, one of those that you can hardly beat without a guide, but also with an extremely beautiful world and a fantastic cast of characters. Yeah, you can choose between 8 different protagonists, each with their own part of the main plot. The music is as pale for fantasy at its best as it is magical, which will easily hypnotize you. And of course, it does help the game itself to be much more alluring to play. Number 6. The Darkspire. Another highly unknown game that definitely does not look like a JRPG is the Darkspire. Brutally unforgiving, one of the hardest on the system as a matter of fact. First-person dungeon crawler and turn-based RPG. It isn't my kind of jam, but you bet your ass I was having a blast with the music. I don't know why they decided to create such an incredibly upbeat, sinister and rocking soundtrack for a game that's not exactly a hidden gem or mainstream, but I loved it either way. I only recommend this game to hardcore gamers, by the way. It isn't bad, but it's just something I couldn't get into. The soundtrack, however, oh man, just listen. Number 5. Warsong. Heck yeah, more Sega Genesis, because the music there was just mind-blowing. And the soundtrack on Warsong, also known as Langreaser, is tremendously good. I can't believe it only has like 10 songs in it, and that was more than enough to beat some great and long soundtracks off of this list. Again, it's just so damn 80s, and I love that because it's electronic, catchy, passionate, and rhythmic at the same time. All of that without exaggerating the sounds, which are nothing but pure metal turned into 16-bit music. Warsong is another extremely hard strategy RPG, one that is getting a remake soon on the Switch. Great hidden gem, but if it's not your jam, at least give the terrific soundtrack a chance. Number 4. Eternal Poison. You know I couldn't leave out my beloved Eternal Poison, especially since the soundtrack is so diverse and unique at the same time. Several composers took part in it to deliver magnificence to this gothic theme RPG. A strategy one, not as hard as others but still challenging, beautifully looking, and with one of the greatest stories I've ever seen in a JRPG. Some themes are dark and creepy, others are rocking with attitude, others are techno experiment gone crazy. Yeah, it's highly original. Anyway, I can't say nothing that I haven't already said a million times about this lovely title, so let's just get on with the music. Number 3. Is. Sorry, but I think the very first Is ever made still has the absolute best soundtrack in the entire series. Yeah, even better than Lacrimosa of Dana and the Odin Felgana. I really liked it on the Master System and the TurboGrafx where I first played it for a little bit. I couldn't get into it much because bumping into your enemies was kinda complicated, but once I finally played the remake on the PSP, oh my god. And yes, the music was exactly what made me keep going into its labyrinthose nature. I banged my head many times with the many different themes it has, over-the-top metal in some dungeons and boss fights. Very passionate music for some reason. Very passionate. Number 2. Phantasy Star 4: The End of the Millennium. Last Genesis game, I promise. Well, what can I say about a game that I've also praised many times before? The masterpiece and the epitome of the Phantasy Star series, The End of the Millennium. Turn-based RPG, science fiction at its best, great story, battle system, graphics, everything is phenomenal. I know the encounter rate is atrociously high, and that can kill the experience, but trust me when I say you'll need it because the game is grindy. And you know what will be your best friend in this quest? The criminally underrated soundtrack with its industrial rock and electronic beats merged into a 16-bit synthesizer. Whenever I think of outer space music, this game is the first thing that comes into my mind. Number 1. Shin Megami Tensei 4: Apocalypse. Hard to believe the magic of Shoji Meguro was overly present in some Megami games, but not in the fabulous Apocalypse, the alternative sequel of Shin Megami Tensei 4. We owe this perfect OST to Ryota Kosuka, who also composed the original. It seems praise goes often to games like Nocturne or Digital Devil Saga, but they cannot compete, in my opinion, with the strange variety of sounds Kosuka created here. Apocalypse is my favorite game in the main series, and its soundtrack totally helped into that, considering it's another masterpiece making sweet love to my ears. From themes that go into the darkest corners of your imagination, to upbeat and relentless electronic nightmares into your head. No doubt about it, the soundtrack in this JRPG is the most underrated of them all.